Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today we're going to talk about PlayStation 5 again. So this has kind of been coming on for a minute. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to go ahead and rate the first year of PlayStation 5 from the way I see it, from my point of view, and how I think things are going. So last year, before the PlayStation 5 launched, they came out and showed us a whole bunch of games, got our hopes up, told us a whole bunch of stuff we were going to be getting, that was going to be PlayStation first party, exclusive content to PlayStation 5. Since then, they've went back on basically all of that, but Ratchet and Clank and Returnal, and like a couple other games. All the Sony first party stuff basically is going to be cross gen now. So now we're not getting any real true next gen exclusives for our PlayStation 5 from a Sony team until 2023 at the earliest, at the way this is looking. They might have something ready, that's not been announced or something, next year. But I'm not going to hold my breath for that. They are putting more work. I mean, they basically have charged us upgrade fees for every single game that they've upgraded for PlayStation 5. Some of them, just the bare minimum, like haptic feedback and maybe push the resolution and, frame rate up. Some games they've given us, updates, and this is where it really starts to get on my nerves a little bit with this whole PlayStation thing. Horizon Zero Dawn, we basically got bumped up to 60 frames a second, but they did a full port of that game over to PC. They hooked them guys up. They made that game better than it than it looks on the PlayStation 4 Pro or whatever. And we basically still get to keep our checkerboard resolution. They didn't upgrade any of the textures. They didn't do anything for our game. Even though we bought a PlayStation 5, we got a much more powerful console. They definitely could have put a little bit of extra work into the PlayStation 5 version as they were building that out for PC, for the PC guys. That would have been pretty nice. Days Gone got the same treatment, much better on the PC. Barely got 60 frames a second on our PlayStation 5. God of War is getting pretty upgraded for the PlayStation, or for the PC. Releasing that, before we even get a next game on our PlayStation 5. PC are going to have that game for them before we even get, Horizon Forbidden West. So that's pretty cool. I mean, they're definitely taking care of that PC market over the PlayStation 5. I feel like they're putting more effort into that than they are us. I mean, we got our Deathloop copy, and it's pretty decent. Yeah, it could possibly be better, but I mean, the PC guys, they got pretty maxed out on that. We got our Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank was pretty cool, but let's face it, that was a kid's game. It's designed for teens. I mean, it was fun. It was great. I thought it was fine. But I mean, not necessarily built for some of my age. We got our Returnal, which is, let's face it, it's a niche title. Nobody. You really have to be into roguelite to really be into that type of a game. So that kind of takes, from the experience to a certain extent. I mean, they've sold under 600,000 copies of that game out of the 10 plus million PlayStation 5s that are out there. I'm starting to feel like even more like they're just, like they're moving away from delivering that great experience to us. I mean, I feel like they're chasing that money more than anything else, because by the time 2023 rolls around, I mean, like, yeah, we're gonna get Forspoken and some other, third party games, but at the end of the day, like, we buy PlayStations for their first party games too, and for all of their first party stuff to be cross gen. I mean, Gran Turismo, Forza Horizon Forbidden West, yeah, that one we already knew was gonna be cross gen, but now, God of War, it's starting to feel more and more like they are chasing the money over delivering a PlayStation 5 experience to the people who bought into this. I mean, not only did they bring us a weaker console this generation that is going to leave a lot of games, not, I mean, we're stuck. We're going to be stuck with a choice this generation throughout the PlayStation 5, whether we want a really high visual quality or we want, a basic 60 frames a second. That to me is a little frustrating. I mean, WRC 10, when it first launched, it was pretty rough on the PlayStation 5. Thankfully, the patch that Kiloton put out today definitely helped that game. So that's given me a little hope. I mean, I look at a game like Far Cry 6 that came out recently, and the way that performs on the PlayStation 5, I just feel like they cheaped out on the hardware big time this time, guys. Like, not big time. I mean, this is the best, fastest, most powerful PlayStation that we've ever had, that they've ever launched. I mean, for the most part, I'm happy with it. I don't really have any regrets buying it or anything like that. But I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you that those three games being pushed well into next year and then still being cross-platform games, I'm not going to tell you that doesn't bug me, because it does. It does bug me to a point where it's like, wow, man, like, and they want us to pay $70 for these? Like, they want us to pay more for these and not get that true next-gen experience that they come out and say they believe in generations. It's been one lie after another and one backpedal after another, and nobody says anything. Nobody calls them out on this stuff. Nobody. If this was Microsoft or Xbox, you seen what happened to Xbox when they did stuff like this. When they started putting their first party on PC. When they started talking about cross-gen, being like the first year or whatever. Like, yeah, we're getting Forza Horizon 5 next month and Halo Infinite a year after the console launched. 1 year after the console launched. By the time we get God of War, it'll be a year later, a year on from now. Us Xbox, like the guys on the Xbox, when we bought our Xboxes, like, we've literally been waiting this whole year for a next-gen game, like for a true Microsoft, first-party exclusive that is built, towards our hardware. And we're not going to get that this year. We're not going to get that. I mean, Microsoft Flight Simulator is definitely an amazing game, but I mean, that's a console. I mean, it is. It's a PC game ported to console and built so that it can run on a console, and that's cool. Like, that to me, that is the first next gen game. Like, I'm perfectly okay with that. But there's a lot of people out there that don't see that the way I see that. I see that as a true next-gen experience for me, but I mean, there's a lot of guys in the Xbox community that are waiting for that true next-gen experience, and they're going to get Forza Horizon 5, which is going to feel pretty dang good. It's going to feel pretty good. I mean, most of the stuff that we've seen that's cross-generation is definitely getting, that really solid treatment, like Far Cry 6 and stuff. Like, we're getting, like Resident Evil 6 or Resident Evil Village, games that are looking and feeling amazing on our next gen consoles. Like, that's not the problem. The problem is Halo Infinite is the last cross gen game for the Xbox. Everything from then on is going to be next gen only. They're going to be built and designed on next gen. all next year we're gonna get, I mean, we're gonna get Forspoken. I mean, that one's supposedly a next gen game, and it looks pretty good. I'm pretty excited for that for the most part. Like I like the traversal of that, but the combat, I don't know if I'm necessarily like, oh yeah, that combat looks great. I mean, it looks cool. We might get Final Fantasy 16. There's a lot of what ifs still of what we're going to get next year when it comes to PlayStation. Yeah, I'm probably forgetting some of the stuff that they've shown, and like Project Eve and stuff like that. But a lot of these games are still going to be cross-gen from third-party guys too. So at the end of the day, the first next-gen game that we're going to see from Sony for the PlayStation 5 is literally going to be 2023. So if that doesn't make you think like, I feel like they need to do something. I feel like they should. I don't feel like they should charge us for $70 for any more of these upgraded next gen games. I don't think that's the case. I think that should be like. I think that honestly should be like, hey guys, sorry that things are kind of messed up. Like let us get you this stuff, and we'll move forward from there. I mean, they're definitely taking care of the PC market. I think that's the market they're more after now than actually taking care of the PlayStation 5 people. I mean, they know there's enough hype out there right now that 50 million PlayStations would sell if they were on the market right now. They would sell 50 million of those. So I mean, that's not the barrier. If they could get those consoles out faster, then people would adopt them quicker. And that's the thing, man. There's too much. The PlayStation 5 is not living up to the hype at all. And people like me and other people are starting to notice that. We're starting to see through the cracks. We're starting to see PlayStation 5 for what it really is. It's a great system. It's a great console. It's gonna have an amazing life this generation, but yeah, man, this really sucks having to wait as long as we're gonna have to wait for a next gen experience on the PlayStation 5 that's made and designed by PlayStation. So yeah, I mean, like, yeah, we'll get Nathan Drake and all these other freaking upgraded, remastered games. We'll get, our cross-gen games, for all next year. But then after that, like, what's after that? I mean, they showed us Spider-Man 2. Yeah, that looks freaking amazing. Wolverine, that looks great. We're gonna get some of these experiences, within the next couple of years. But yeah, I'm not losing faith in Sony. I'm calling them out. Like, hey, man. Microsoft took a lot of crap for all this stuff, and people are sugarcoating this for you. I don't care that you're bringing your games to PC. Like, I don't care. Like, yeah, let them have them. But I do care that you're not upgrading my experience on my new PlayStation that I just bought, that you told me was the most powerful PlayStation, and it was great, and it could do things that no other freaking console could do, but yet you refuse to invest the money to upgrade my experience in any meaningful way other than a frame rate boost. Microsoft does that for free all day long with all of my games, even games that nobody would have ever even expected to get FPS boost. They're getting them. So yeah, and that's a system function that just, works. I don't know what your guys' plan is, Sony, but yeah, man, like I'm really not impressed this generation. I'm telling you, my hype level for PlayStation 5 is pretty low. Man, I don't even come home and turn my PlayStation on. I go straight to my Xbox. I don't even turn my PlayStation on. And I've bought so many games on that PlayStation, and like seriously, when I go to sit down to play them, I'm just like, oh man, do I even want to play? Like it sometimes it eats at me. I want to play it, but yeah, I want to play my Xbox more. I want to experience things the best I can, because yeah, like turning on Far Cry 6 on my PlayStation 5 just leaves me wanting. I want to just play it on my Xbox. It's a much better experience. So I'm getting around my whole streaming thing. I'm going to start streaming on the Xbox more. I'm starting to do it again. So this basically is just the first year of PlayStation 5 for me has been fairly disappointing for the most part. I mean, like, yeah, Ghost of Tsushima's pretty cool. Death Stranding's amazing. Deathloop has been great. Kena Bridge of Spirits, like, man, I can't even bring myself to finish playing that right now. I have no interest in in continuing to play that, because everything I saw in the advertisements and everything I'm seeing on my screen now, I'm just like, oh man, that does not look like what I imagined it to look. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too nitpicky when it comes to games these days. Maybe I'm just too nitpicky. Maybe I've been watching way too much Digital Foundry, and maybe I just don't appreciate the art form as much as I used to because of people like Digital Foundry always out there nitpicking everything. And yeah, like of course I like to watch it because I like to know and I like to see and blah blah blah. But man, I have been I have been like cutting back on that, like the whole Digital Foundry thing before I buy a game. I'm really trying to move away from that because I do want to start having more appreciation for the art form. But yeah, Digital Foundry's kind of started ruining me during the last generation, and I don't want to be like that. I want to be able to appreciate games again. And yeah, PlayStation 5 has just it's been kind of a disappointment, you know, in terms of just not wowing me like every other PlayStation has before. I'm not feeling that. I mean, to be completely honest, I haven't been completely wowed with anything from Xbox first party either, but the experiences that I have received on the Xbox so far have been a lot better experiences for the most part. So take it for what you want. If you like this content, hit like, hit subscribe. If you don't like this content, hit the not like button. Go ahead and post your PlayStation Better comment in the thing for me so I can read it and kind of try to understand, you know, how other people are feeling that still love PlayStation. You know, I still love my PlayStation. I'm just not feeling the hype for it like I used to. Like when the PlayStations would come out, I'd be like, whoa, I'd be super hyped. And now I don't have that this generation, and I don't know why. And it's really frustrating because I love Sony first party games, but then the more I get on Twitter and the more I run this channel, the more feedback I get from both sides, and the more like negativity I hear from the PlayStation guys, the more it pushes me away from that. And yeah, dude, it kind of sucks, man. And I'm struggling with that right now. So like I said, if you like this, hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you don't, drop me a comment. Let me know how you're feeling. Thank you, and I will see you in the next one.